What's going on, golf addicts? It is the Open Championship show from Royal Liverpool, Hoylake area. This is the Tour Junkies, DFS, DraftKings podcast, breakdown, preview. Oh, God, we got a great show. How we doing, Pat?
I'm doing fantastic, DB. I'm excited about this show. I'm ready to, this is the Open Championship. Is this now Glory's last shot? Is this what
what it is?
I mean, did we transfer that over from the PGA Championship to this one?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. All I know is that you're gonna be waxing your inner thigh on this show.
Yeah, I am.
Listen, I keep losing bets. Pat keeps winning bets, but the bets I am winning are the ones where me and Pat have to spin the wheel, and Pat has to pay off. I don't even remember which bet you lost, but you have to get your inner thigh waxed on this show. I had to do it last year. My wife did it. Your wife will be waxing your inner thigh at the end of this show. So if you want to see it, look at that thing, boy. Get that thing ready. If you want to see it, if you want to see Pat's inner thigh get ripped up by his wife, God dang. Just wait till the end of the show. But we're gonna have a great show today. We're gonna talk through the DraftKings pricing. We're going to talk through some trends. We're gonna take a little history lesson. From past Open Championships, some DFS history lessons. We're going to talk lineup construction, chalk guesses, dead ranges, cash picks, GPP pivots. We've got a bunch of Mary F. Kill scenarios, DFS scenarios. It's going to be a wonderful show. Thanks everybody for tuning in. It's Sunday. We're getting this out early. It's Sunday afternoon. We watched a heartbreaking loss. This isn't the betting show, but I did have Bobby McIntyre at 80-1 on the card.
Jeez. Just a heartbreaker. I felt for you, DB. I even texted you. I wanted to go give you a hug because Alpha Rory just took it down.
It's very beta of Rory to win the week before he should not have won. He should not have won. Like, why would you do that to yourself?
What if he wins next? What if he wins this week though? And
but it's not. Like, that's not gonna happen.
Does he then become Alpha?
If he wins this week, yeah, then he's back to having. Okay. Then he's back to Alpha. His nipples are just constantly out there, are they not? Like, I feel like he has the most nipply nipples of any player, like other than Phil Mickelson ever. I feel like every shirt he wears, it doesn't matter. We have to see his nipples. You know what I mean?
Make male like pasty things. Don't they make those for females where you just
you can do stickers, just regular ass stickers, too, right? But I feel like he's like constant. Every year that he's been on tour, we've seen him. Every shirt, every year, they're like constantly out there. I don't understand that. Like, I have some shirts where it's easier to see, but for Rory, it's like every shirt is just he's just nipping.
Maybe he's just I don't know. I don't know how you do it that much because is he always cold or something? I don't. He feels like it looks like he dresses warmly.
Let's I'm still just so hurt by it. I do want to quickly, because people say they like this. So until more people start pissing and moaning about it, people say they are liking the DFS recap from the tournament that just ended in the beginning of the show. So let's quickly look at the DFS, how it panned out from a DFS perspective for the Genesis Scottish Open. Your perfect lineup would have been Rory, Bobby Mack, Nikolai Højgaard. Everybody was loving Rasmus after the win on the DP World Tour, but it was Nikolai who prevailed and punched him a ticket to the Open to join his brother this week. Ben On, who also punched his ticket. Tom Kim and David Lingmerth. Little David Lingmerth, the wee boy, little guy.
Where did he come from? Like, I didn't even know he was in the field.
It's like he just popped out of a little manhole, his little wee self. He came out from behind the ropes on Thursday morning and just assumed the sail. Like, what if he just like slipped the announcer guy on the first tee his name and just said, so and so with Drew, I'm hopping in, and then and then before you know it, he's playing the Open. But
he's bouncing down the first fairway like a little leprechaun.
Yeah. So that lineup, with that perfect lineup, Pat, you would have only spent $47,500 in DK salary. Talk about leaving some cash on the table. Had you done that one, and that would have been interesting. It was kind of it wasn't a super chalky week. 4 of the top 10 DraftKings point scorers were over 15% in average ownership. But then like only 4 of the 10 most popular players finished in the top 15 in DraftKings point score. So it's like you kind of had to have some of the chalk, like Fleetwood, Hatton, and Rory was all kind of chalk that paid off. But yeah, other than that, I'm going to leave the rest of the research nuggets that I put in the Nut Hut. I'm writing that up every week, dropping that in the Nut Hut for you. I'm going to leave that alone. Now we're just going to move on. How about that? By the way, great week to hop in the Nut Hut. Great week to hop in the Nut Hut. We're going to have all the normal content plus some. We've got already confirmed a couple of sets of boots on the ground, a couple of caddies that are going to be dropping some nice nuggets on the golf course conditions, what they're observing from Royal Liverpool. We'll be dumping all that in the Nut Hut. Regular. So we mentioned that me and Pat are going to Nashville this week to hang out with our friends at SoBet, do some content. On Wednesday, the lunch chat will be live from Nashville, from the SoBet house, and it may be a little later than normal. So stay tuned on that. I got to drive to Nashville Wednesday morning. When I get there, I'm going to immediately open up my laptop and do the thing. So the Wednesday lunch chat with the Discord and the Nut Hut will be a little bit later, but it'll be good. Then Wednesday night, me and Pat will be together in Nashville at the SoBet house doing the Wednesday night live chat. That's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. So, and we also may have a surprise guest for tomorrow's show as well. Pat, we're going to do the betting show on Monday morning live at 10:30 in the morning. I'm not making any promises, but we might have a surprise guest on that one. So stay tuned for that. Be on the lookout for that. Emails are going out as normal. Yeah, get in the Nut Hut, baby.
Yeah.
That. Don't forget SoBet Saturdays too. Start at the end of August. College football, NFL. Every single week, we're going to have a SoBet handicapper hopping in the Discord, doing a live chat, talking through the college and NFL slate for the week. That's going to be awesome as well, starting August 26th and running through the end of the NFL season. So, all right, let's talk about the Open, Pat.
Okay.
Royal Liverpool, Hoylake, last seen 2014, the site of Rory's last major championship. I mean, it is definitely all lining up to be Rory. I mean, it really is. Good God. It's so disgusting how much it's all lining up, which means it just won't happen, right? It can't happen. Tiger famously won here in 2006. I mean, take a shot every time this week you hear any tout or you read it on Twitter or somebody says it in the broadcast that Tiger won here in 2006, only hitting one driver all week or something. He hit like 85% of his fairways. Take a shot every time you hear that. This place is not going to play anything like that in 2006. It is looking like early weather predictions look like the course is going to play a little soft, Pat. Is that what you've seen, or have you been looking at it? You're the weather-wise guy.
No, I mean, I've looked at the weather a little bit. I am seeing definitely a little bit softer conditions. I haven't seen a whole lot of wind.
Yeah, it doesn't look like
I mean, it looks kind of like for over there, it's not that windy.
Yeah.
Now, we know how things can change, but right now, I think you're right. It's going to play soft. I think they're definitely going to have a lot of birdies there. I mean, what was Tiger when he won? Like 18 under, and Rory was like 17 or something. So
Tiger, I don't think Tiger was 18. No way.
I don't know. I can't remember.
18 when it was that firm and fast.
I don't know. I thought he made a lot of birdies.
I don't think that was the case. Yeah, I mean it's a coastal course. It's like right there on the what is it, the northwest corner of the Wirral Peninsula in the small town of Hoylake. So you got that. 6 holes with out of bounds is what they're saying. The more I look at it, the more I actually don't think all 6 of those holes are really going to be that much in play for out of bounds, but there's some out of bounds here. There is some penalty for wayward shots. Definitely very little intermediate rough off the fairways. It just kind of looks like when the fairway ends, you've got a small sliver of intermediate rough, and then you're in the taller fescue that can be unpredictable, whatever, kind of the hay or the gorse or whatever it is. Greens aren't super huge like we saw this week at the Genesis Scottish. They're actually not that big. They're also relatively flat. And the head ground superintendent, I can't remember what they call him, but the superintendent said probably going to roll like a 10.5 or 11. Pretty typical kind of coastal course. Pretty flat property overall. You got some run-ups in front of some of these greens. Phil Mickelson talked about that back in 2014. Obviously, got a ton of bunkering. They added some bunkers here. They've done a lot of changes to the golf course. We're not going to get into all that because we don't really care that much. We're just worried about how it's going to play. It's the longest back nine in Open Championship history, and that's with a 135-yard par 3, which is going to be an interesting hole. I think that's the 17th. Plenty of dunes and kind of weird bounces could happen, things like that. I think it's probably going to play a lot closer to the 2014 version that was kind of wet and soft. And the Tiger year was 18 under, huh? Damn.
Yeah.
Rory had like a softer course. There was some rain. It's definitely, seeing some rain this week. Already raining right now, I think, as we're recording this. But we'll get a ton of information about that, kind of how it's playing, conditions, and all that from our friends, and we'll be sure to drop all of that in the Discord. But I also want to talk about some DFS things that we've learned in the last 2 Open Championships, Pat. I did some digging, and I put a lot of information in the Nut Huts, in the Discord. If you go into the research thread on the left, the research channel, I gave you some information on the 2022 and 2021 Open Championship as it pertains to DraftKings. Because, look, this show is not necessarily about picking the winners or your favorite players. It's about putting lineups together that are going to finish in the top 1% of a GPP tournament, or maybe we'll give you some cash plays for 50-50s and double ups. So understanding lineup construction, understanding some of the trends, understanding kind of how it's gone the last couple of years, I think is interesting kind of to have to put in perspective. So I'm going to share some of those nuggies here, but the rest of them and all of them are in the Discord. So go check that out. In the last 2 years, Pat, both like perfect lineups would have had, for both years, would have had at least 2 to 3 players at 9K or above, and at least one 6K player. So kind of a stars and scrubs there. Both would have had sub 60% total ownership. And of the top 10 point scorers in 2021 and 2022, DraftKings point scores, those 20 players between those 2 years, 9 of the top 20 were 15% owned or greater, which I think is kind of, I think that actually, to me, that actually says it kind of plays into the chalk a little bit, right? And we've had a pretty chalky DFS year, I think. I mean, I think part of it is because there's just a lot of guys playing really well and consistently, and everybody's looking at great numbers, and everybody has access to data, and everybody's getting sharper and smarter. So the chalk tends to hit more often than not. It's not perfect usually, but I would say for those last 2 years to be that, and the trend that we're on this year probably means that you are going to have to take on some popular plays in your lineup construction as you build lineups, as you put lineups together. It's just a matter of, are you going to pick the right ones? In both years, 6 of the top 10 point scorers were 9K or greater. So 60% of the top scorers in DraftKings the last 2 years have been priced in the 9K range or above. Now, we're going to get into the pricing here in a second. Obviously, this year's very different because DraftKings is like turned back the clock and given us 2015 DFS salaries with a guy, Scotty in the 12K and a 5K range, which I'm really giddy about. And the final thing I'll tell you is only 3 of the top 20 highest owned players. So the top 10 highest owned in 2021 and the top 10 highest owned in 2022. Only 3 of those 20 players missed the cut. So again, speaking a little bit towards chalk, and then as I talked about the 9K and above range, I think it means you can't avoid the studs at the top. There are ways to build balanced lineups, yes. More balanced lineups, yes. But you got to have exposure to these guys up top, right?
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. Okay.
Did you learn anything there, Pat?
I did. That was good. I was excited to hear it.
Okay, well, good. Our friend Lukey Boy in the Discord asked, how do players who competed in the Scottish before the Open typically perform? So I only had time to go back and look last year, but it was interesting. Last year, and last year was the first year they had the Genesis Scottish. Before, it would be like you either play the John Deere and haul ass over here, or you'd be over here and play like the Irish, or you'd have time off, right? Isn't that how it went? So last year at the Genesis Scottish, you had Patrick Cantlay, Jordan Spieth, Xander Schauffele, and Cam Smith all finish in the top 10 at the Genesis Scottish. All had really good finishes here at the Open. Obviously, Cam Smith wins.
Yeah.
But you also had this list: Cam Young, Victor Hovland, Brian Harmon, Lucas Earbert, as we like to call him, Siwoo Kim, and Francesco Molinari all missed the cut at the Genesis Scottish Open, but all finished, I believe, top 15. I mean, we know what Hovland and Young did. I believe they all finished top 15 at the Open Championship despite missing the cut at the Genesis Scottish.
So that doesn't really tell us all that much.
Well, I think for me, it kind of makes you go, it kind of helps like realign your recency bias, because, you know, if you played DFS today or something, like you could be pissed off that like I had a bunch of Adam Scott. Adam Scott pissed me off. Like, you could be mad at Adam Scott. Like, the list of guys, here's some notable players who missed the cut at the Genesis Scotch: Keith Mitchell, Adam Scott, Patrick Cantlay, Maronk, Rose, M, Thigala, Fitz, Spieth, Noren, Rasmus Hogard. Like, those were all relatively solid names, popular plays to an extent, that all missed the cut. And it would feel like you just want to be pissed at them and go, oh crap, they're not ready for this links, or they're not ready for these conditions, or whatever it is, and you want to write them off. But I think that list that I just gave you kind of makes you go, okay, last year it happened, right? You know, the guys did really, really well. And maybe this drives down ownership for some of these plays, and that's something to consider.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think about the pricing?
I mean, it is interesting for sure. You know, one thing too that's really kind of, I mean, just how many people you got above 9K, and
Yes.
then how little you get in the 8K range, which is maybe not abnormal in a field like this with so many players. But then, of course, you know, getting into these, you know, like when you put out a tweet about the 5K being back, I'm thinking, all right, what is there going to be, like 8 people? But there's not. There's a ton in the 5K. Yeah. I mean, it's just. So I like it. I mean, I like it. I think I definitely feel like when you're looking through it, especially up top, it's very hard not to. I wrote down like 6 players that I think are going to be chalky all above 9K, which is, so I don't know if that's what it's going to be, but
yeah, no, I think it will. I mean, because you've got, like you said, so many players in that range, and those are all the best players, so they are going to be pretty popular. And, you know, I guess before we start talking names and stuff, we should remind everyone that, you know, the Open Championship is historically a very, very volatile event, right? Especially the first 2 rounds. Right now, the weather looks kind of like nothing. Me and Pat just talking about how there's little to no wind. That could change very quickly. You could have a major wave advantage, and that could really flip the whole script. So I think it would be prudent to not be too committed to lineups to this point, or certain players to this point. I think, you know, you need to hold off on submitting lineups until the latest possible moment, and that would be Wednesday, you know, evening, if you're here in the United States. So I definitely think we got to take that into consideration. When you're listening to this show, we're taking that into consideration. When I'm looking at players, you know, depending on how much of an advantage we see, you know, there are players I'm willing to completely fade if they're on the wrong side. But there are players who I feel like we've talked about it before in tournaments like this, kind of weatherproof-ish to an extent. You know, if I like them that much, I could see them being fine in a slightly worse wave, if that's what I need to do. And then there's always the caveat, and we talked about this last week with the Genesis Scottish, because last year's Genesis Scottish was over a 2-shot advantage. There's always the caveat that, you know, waves can change, right? So stacking opposite waves. If everybody's on the PM AM, you know, Wednesday night, it's, you know, if you're playing multiple lineups, probably makes some sense to go AM PM and stack it, because you never know what's going to happen. I thought it was strange how they manipulated tee times today. For the end of the Genesis Scottish. Just normally we're used to them just dealing with it, but they didn't want them to deal with it. So
yeah,
you never know how it's gonna, you know, what's gonna happen. Lightning comes in the area and everything gets delayed and waves get pushed around. So just be aware of that and don't get too pot committed to your players. I think it's the big thing. But
yeah, I'm with you there. I'm feeling a lot shorter than you right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you notice that?
Well, I stand up. You don't stand up. I think just standing up in general.
I need to raise it up a little bit. Hang on a
Spaz is asking about podcast juice in the chat. It's 4 o'clock on a Sunday, Spaz. I don't know. I'm just drinking
No,
water. No podcast juice for me.
I should be after with this waxing that's going to be happening later here.
Yeah, you would think I would be passed out and completely obliterated after the heartbreak of Bobby McIntyre this morning, but
Well, yeah.
I didn't do that either. God. Well, Wednesday night, though, you know, I mean, you guys know if you've been in the Discord long enough, when me and Pat are in person together doing a Wednesday night live chat, you can probably count on at least one of us. At least one of us.
I'm gonna try not to go like scorched earth on the chat though, like I did last when we were together.
Well, I don't know. Like it works for you. It works for you because you like went off on 4 or 5 regular chat members who are all Team Pat, and they like walked away loving you more. It's so ridiculous.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm ready to talk some players, Stevie.
I am. I mean, when you look at this range, first of all, it's almost impossible to commit to fading anybody in here without knowing ownership. But I am almost thinking. I feel like I want to have exposure to a lot of these guys, and then do the reverse of what maybe intuitive, but like go way overweight and lock up on the guys that are cheaper in the lower ranges or in the other ranges that I want to play that I really like, and just go overboard on those guys, and then just have a lot of exposure to these players up top. With so many of these guys likely to be popping, I would hate to really only have exposure to 4, right? And just not quite get there, but have nailed the middle or the bottom end, you know?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Did I make sense talking about that?
It does, but when I was looking at just doing research and looking at the players and the pricing, kind of going back to that a little bit, I feel like I'm gonna have to force myself to take an 8K guy, but I almost want to skip over the entire section.
Yeah, it seems like because the 5K range gives you what it gives you, and the 6K range. I mean, there's some really talented players in there. We'll get to it. Because it gives you that, I don't know how people don't have, so much exposure to these guys. I mean, I just counted 17 players, I think is the right number, from Cam Young up to Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah.
And so they're gonna want as many as they can from there, and then it's just going to force a lot of lineups to skip the 8K range, and even possibly, the upper 7s, with exception to a couple guys I think could be chalky. But I know when I was like messing around making lineups, I was like, there's a few guys in the mid 7s or low 7s that I like that I could also see people not getting to. And I was like, what if I start building my lineup with those players to make sure that I have them in? And that might be a little different, because I think if you just start building from the top, it forces you to skip these ranges.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's a great point. I think starting your lineups this week, especially with how the pricing is, even with the 5K stuff in there, from like if you typically like to start at the top and go down, I really like starting lower and pegging those people in the in that 7K range, I think, that you really like, and then fill in from there, because it's going to be hard. I mean, when you get into like looking at these 9K guys and higher than that, like, it's going to be hard to picking these guys. I mean,
Yeah.
there's just so many in here that are playing well, and then there's a lot of reasons to play them.
So let's start talking about some of these guys. I think, Rory clearly, I would imagine, will be the highest owned player in this top section, and maybe the highest owned player on the board. Coming off the win, the Royal Liverpool stuff, just the narrative, everybody wanting him to win, and feeling like for $600 less, you can get Rory. Now, you can do a Scotty Rory stack. I've messed around with that. You can do it, and it's not terrible with some of the 5K value and 6K value. But I think Rory's going to be the most popular. Does that mean it's like I think we're going to be looking at a squeezed John Rahm?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Which I'm very interested in. I would be
100%.
I would be very interested in that. I'm interested in Scotty. I mean, Scotty just continues to do the damn thing. I mean, I don't have any worries about Scotty at all. So, I mean, other than the price, Scotty is very interesting to me. Which all this probably points to me not having any Rory. Like that might be one I could say I just won't have. I won't. I would just rather take a shot with Rahm, or go ahead and get up to Scheffler, or I may just be not starting lineups here. That was one question I wanted to ask you. This whole range, 9K and above, where is the cheapest point that you would be willing to start a tournament lineup? Cheapest player, 9K and above, that you would be willing to start a tournament lineup?
I think it would start at Shane Lowry at 9,100.
Really? So you're willing to pass on everyone from DJ up?
Oh, you mean like, okay, never mind.
No,
I heard that wrong.
Yeah, I said it twice. Still didn't understand it. And you're not drinking.
Say it again.
You want me to give you an example? I'll tell you my answer. I'm saying the cheapest player.
Maybe you didn't explain it well.
It's not that hard. The cheapest player from 9K and above that you are willing to start a tournament lineup with and not go any higher, right?
Well, so yeah, that's the part you didn't really clarify.
Well, I would assume you figured that out. Like,
no. I mean, you needed to. Anyway, go ahead.
Mine would be Ricky. As I'm sitting here looking, like, I love Hovland. I'm still all about Hovland. I hope that kind of a middling finish at the Genesis Scottish. Where did he end up today? Yeah, he shot 2 over, finished T25. Actually gained. You know where he gained the most amount of strokes for the week, Pat, at the Genesis Scottish Open? Around the green. Victor Hovland.
Yeah.
But anyway, I like Victor a lot. But I'm saying if I was making a bunch of lineups, I would be willing to go down to Fowler and start with Fowler and skip everybody from Cantlay up in a percentage of those lineups. I don't think that's going to be like the main strategy, but I'd be willing to do that. I still love Ricky a lot. So I'm not willing to leave him out. But I would be willing to start with him.
See, I think it'd be higher for me. I don't know if I would want to get. I don't know if I'd want to take Brooks out. I don't think I'd want to take Hovland out. I think it'd be Brooks for me. Now, none of this means that's what I would do, because I wouldn't, because I love Scheffler and Rory. So I'm not going to do that.
You're going to have lineups without Scheffler and Rory in it.
Yeah, but I could see me, but I don't think I would go much lower and take out those guys below.
I do like Brooks. I agree with you here. He played here in 2014, by the way. Was that when he was still like on the Challenge Tour or DP World Tour? Yeah,
must have had to have been.
He finished right there with Tiger, like T50 something or something like that. All right, so Xander. I feel like the disgusting bros, Xander and Cantlay, are going to kind of force me to make a tough decision come Wednesday, because I don't know that. Xander finishes 42nd at the Genesis Scottish. He just feels like he's never going to kind of. Just still doesn't feel like
he's won either of those two. Actually, if I was fading players in here right now without looking at any ownership or anything, Xander and Cantlay be out for me.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I think a lot of people are going to feel that way. So then you're going to be looking at a nice discount in terms of ownership on them. And to me, especially Cantlay, I mean, coming off the missed cut, he missed the cut on the number. He shot a 67 in round 2 to almost get in at the Genesis Scottish. He's playing well. Good Open Championship last year. What did he finish? 8th last year at the Open. I feel like I would be more tempted to play Cantlay if I can get him at a discount in terms of ownership. And I do feel like I'm getting him at a nice price at 9,900. But so I guess that means like my least favorite guys to start are kind of Rory. I just know I won't have. I don't know what to do with Cam Smith because, like, part of me feels like this is a great opportunity for Cam Smith. Playing well and Live, just won in London. I don't know that course is anything like this course, but obviously he's played great at the majors this year. The off the tee stuff worries me, and I could see how that will be the narrative on Cam Smith all week. But I mean, he won Sawgrass.
Yeah, I think that would be the one thing for me with Cam that would definitely worry me, because I do think you've got to, when you're looking at stats. I've got driving accuracy in here. I think a lot of what you read talks about this course being pretty accurate off the tee. Obviously, we saw that with the whole Tiger thing that you were talking about, and it was different. But there's also some trouble. I mean, there's some out of bounds and things like that. So you didn't really have that at St. Andrews. I
No,
mean, it
no,
didn't
it's
really
very different.
matter where he was going off the tee.
That's why I didn't say St. Andrews and I said Sawgrass. Like,
Yeah.
in terms of a course where, and I faded the heck out of Cam Smith that week, for that reason. But I mean, if the course is playing a little softer, that's a little easier for these guys to hold fairways and not have them, not have the ball running off into the hay or into the fescue or whatever. He obviously knows how to play the ball in the wind. If the wind picks up, the short game speaks for itself. If he could be disciplined off the tee is the question, which I think he can. I think that's how he won Sawgrass. But he's going to be a tough one for me to I could be tempted with Cam Smith.
Yeah. No, I could be too. I think the two most interesting players to me in this range are, what are we going to do with Jordan?
Yep.
And
I'd ask you that.
what's going to happen with DJ? Because I want to play DJ this week.
Yeah, I do too.
And he kind of snuck in with that top 10 at the US Open. He
Yeah.
has a pretty good record here. I mean, he's had top 10s in the last couple of years at the Open.
Yeah.
So DJ's definitely on the list for me.
I agree, and I don't I don't think he's going to be overlooked. I think DJ's going to get play.
No, I'm not saying he's going to get overlooked. I just think he's
Yeah.
an interesting.
Spieth is interesting because the Open record is amazing.
Yeah.
It's absolutely amazing, but the form is very questionable. It's very up and down. He just missed the cut at the Scottish. He missed it by 3 shots. I don't know. And he Morikawa, I think, is going to be popular, and for good reason. I like Morikawa. Obviously, a lot of people are gonna be on to Hatton and Fleetwood, and I think DJ. So I think in this kind of 9K range, Spieth, Fitzpatrick, Cam Young, Fitzy coming off the miscut, and just some of his form is a little Spiethian in that it's like hot or cold, and then Cam Young is doing what Cam Young does, which, I mean, everybody's excited that he finished 6th at the John Deere. Like, give me a freaking break. So I think those 3 will be the 3 in this 9K range that maybe get, I don't know, maybe Shane Lowry too, which I love Shane Lowry. Anytime I get a squeeze Shane Lowry, which I normally do, a guy, a low-owned Shane, I will definitely be in on that. He played good this week at the Genesis Scottish, embraces these conditions. Obviously an Open champion, finished 12th this week. So I'm definitely interested in him. So actually, in this range, we had a submission in the Discord for a DFS Mary F. Kill. Cantlay, Spieth, and Cam Young. Mary F. Kill in DFS.
Cantlay, Spieth, Cam Young. Oh, this is a good one.
Considering ownership likely, and I mean, Young's going to be your lowest owned. Then probably Spieth. Cantlay maybe the highest owned out of those 3, I would guess, unless the Spieth Open record just really gets everybody excited.
I think for me, this is I don't like this at all. I think it's probably going to be Mary Jordan. Fuck Cam Young. Kill Cantlay.
Okay. I am.
Or should I said F? Am I not supposed to say
Well, I was trying to avoid it, but
Sorry.
I think I would. You might be surprised by this, Pat. I might just F Spieth and not Cam Young. You may have
Okay.
thought I would say Cam Young.
Yeah.
I would marry Cantlay. I would be tempted to play. Yeah, I mean, I am tempted to play Cantlay at 9,900. And sorry, no, I would kill Jordan. My bad. I would kill Jordan. I would F Cam Young. I would marry Patrick Cantlay. I could see having a little exposure to Cam Young. I wouldn't go overboard. I would not go overboard. But
Well, that's what I was kind of thinking of with effing Cam Young,
yeah,
is that I could see me wanting to, you know,
just have a little
little
run, just a
piece,
little,
a little piece.
yeah, yeah. Uh,
Who started this thing, by the way?
Spaz in the Discord started
Yeah.
the DFS Mary F kill. There's more coming, by the way. We got more of these. We got a few
It
submissions.
makes me very uncomfortable. It's just an uncomfortable thing.
I mean, anything else to talk about up here? I mean, obviously Hatton and Fleetwood to me speak for themselves.
Yeah.
Continue to play amazing.
You don't need us to tell you about whether or not you want to sneak Hatton or Fleetwood into a lineup, because both of them really are just playing great golf. They've got, good histories in Open championships. Both good links players. I mean, there's like all of those things. So
yeah. I mean, like I said, both years, 21, 2022, and 2021, 6 of the top 10 point scores came from 9K or above. So it is going to be unavoidable that you will be eating some chalk up here. So it's okay. Just understand. And remember to kind of keep that ideal total ownership. Total ownership last 2 years been around 60% in perfect lineups. We're not trying to be perfect, but you're trying to win tournaments. So I would say 70% sub total ownership would be great. Leaving money on the table. Obviously, how you build the lineup is one thing. We'll keep talking about that, but you got to have guys up here. You just have to. So
yeah.
So as we get to the 8K range, I think you're right. I mean, it is a murderer's row of guys who we all feel like we could just wave goodbye to and not feel like we're missing a whole lot,
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. Before we do, I do want to remind everybody, our friends at SoBet got it going on over there. All the handicappers, all the access. I just, this weekend, Pat, I told you I've been blind tailing baseball. My guy, I got to give a shout out to Jordo, the sports better. He is a handicapper on SoBet. I tailed him for 3 days in a row. He was on a 3-day hot streak in baseball. Didn't miss a bet for 3 days. I just kept tailing it. And I wasn't even watching the games. I was just entering the bet and then watching me get units. So that was pretty cool. So SoBet, check it out. Link is in the description. Access to almost now 40 handicappers for every sport you can imagine. These handicappers are verified cappers with successful records on SoBet. They are posting and no one else. So your feed is full of good information, good intel, good breakdowns of each game, and transparency is the name of the game at SoBet. So every handicapper is required to explain why they like the play, how many units they're putting on the play, and then required to come back and tell you whether it won or lost, and be transparent in the wins and losses. So it's a unique platform. It's $9.95 a month. If you use promo code TJ, you get it for $9.95 a month. If you try the 6-month deal at promo code TJ, you get it for $39 total for the 6 months. So it's a nice discount there. But now we have a special offer. You can have a free trial just for the Open Championship here. They've launched this. Anybody can take advantage of this if you use code TJ Trial. Okay, so you got to click the link in the description of the show. TJ Trial gets you a free month. So if you want to tail some baseball bets, if you want to see our exclusive round robins that get posted there every week, which are now up, I think, like 7 units, and I think I got a winning week this week, waiting on the Barbasol to resolve. So TJ Trial in the promo box when you sign up gets you that free month just to give it a look. No commitment. You can get out if you don't like it, but football season's around the corner. I think the goal is to have up to 60 handicappers on SoBet platform by football season. And the football season is going to be hopping. So if you can bet, if you're a gambler, check it out. They're awesome. And we'll be with them in Nashville starting on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll be in Nash Vegas. So looking forward to that.
Yeah.
All right, 8K range, Pat.
Okay.
Yeah, I had on my notes. Is this the dead range? Oh, by the way, we didn't talk about cash plays up top. I mean, cash plays, it could literally be, a lot of players. I would say Hovland or Fowler would probably be where I would start a cash play, or I would double up on Hovland, Fowler, Hatton, Fleetwood, even Lowry. I like all those players. I guess, depending on wave advantages, if you have one of those. But
yeah, I wrote down Fleetwood and Hatton, but
yeah.
I don't mind those other ones either.
Well, just let's start with that in the 8K range. Is there anyone in here you would roll out in cash?
I think Wyndham Clark.
Isn't it funny how, like, he's just one, like, we've just all, and rightfully so, but I mean, like, the whole community is like now a full ass believer in Wyndham Clark, even on links, of which he has very little to no record.
I know. But it's just it's hard not to. I mean, with the way he's been playing the entire year, and I just don't see it changing all that much. I mean, if you're looking at players in this 8K range and playing them in cash, he's the one with the least amount of like worry. Now, that doesn't mean he's not gonna, he could miss the cut. I get it, but I mean, Hideki has some worry. Bryson, JT, Sam Burns, Homa, who's been spotty with his form, Sungjae, Finau. I mean, all of these guys, of them, Clark to me feels like the safest play.
It's interesting to me that you say Homa's been spotty with the form, and I'll give it to you. He had a little bit of a fall off there, but for some reason, I feel like, is the DFS community lumping Homa and JT together? Because I think Homa's playing better than JT.
Well, I didn't say that.
I know you didn't, but I'm just saying it feels like he's being like lumped in there with him lately. I mean, I know.
Well, I think you had the 2 missed cuts at the U.S. Open and the Travelers. I mean, he did have a T21 at the Rocket Mortgage. What did he end up finishing at the Scottish?
12th, and then also a 9th at Colonial preceding the U.S. Open. So I mean, I think Homa's an interesting play. I played him in DFS this week for the Scottish, and he was pretty low owned.
But the question was cash. I mean,
I know.
Who do you want to play Homa in cash? Maybe I don't mind him in a tournament play.
Honestly, I don't know that I want to play anybody in this range in cash. I think I might just do 2 or maybe even 3. Like, if you went Lowry, Fleetwood, Hatton, your average price is still 7,400. I would just probably end up skipping the whole 8K range, to be honest.
Well, I'm telling you right now that there's part of me that feels like if I had a Bryson and Hideki in my lineup, something magical could happen. I'm just saying. Hideki, Bryson, gonna be low owned. Throw in
Why is Hideki's Open record so weird lately? I mean, he hasn't had a good Open since 2017.
Yeah.
And then, like, recently, I mean, the iron play has been fantastic. He's gonna be. I mean, he's gonna be low owned. We're gonna have a low owned Hideki,
and so is Bryson.
I don't know that Bryson might get a little more love than you think. Wasn't he up there a little bit for the U.S. Open? Wasn't he a little more popular at the U.S. Open?
Well, he was at the PGA too. I don't know what he finished. Well, he did finish 20th at the U.S. Open, but also the PGA he was up there some.
Well, yeah, but I don't know if he was popular yet from the PGA. I think when he finished 4th at the PGA, everybody's like, "Oh, wow."
Yeah.
And then the U.S. Open, he was kind of hot. I could see Bryson being somewhat there. I just don't think Hideki's going to get any love. Between Wyndham, maybe a little bit of Bryson, and the 9K range, Hideki's going to be nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to be at all tempted by a 7 to 8% Justin Thomas on Wednesday night?
Probably not. I'm just kind of still. I'm just not feeling JT yet. I'm back in on Tom Kim though. I had him on the card last week. I was so. Yeah. He had a chance. Shane Lowry had a chance, and Hatton had a chance. They were all on my card.
I like Tom. I like Tom this week. I mean, anybody else? I mean,
do you have the stats up from the Scottish?
yeah.
What did Tom Kim do scrambling?
He was positive for the week. He gained strokes every round except for today, except for round 4.
I mean, that's pretty good for him. Typically, he has not been a good scrambler.
And with the putter, he was positive every day except for today. He was literally neutral. He was right at neutral today.
Okay.
So the putter's kind of come around too.
Curious.
Hit 72% of his greens. Yeah, I mean, I think Tom's going to get some action. I mean, if we're talking about the lowest owned players in this range, it's probably Hideki, JT, Sungjae.
I think Sungjae.
Are people going to go back to Rose after a missed cut?
I think they will.
He missed the cut by 2 shots at the Genesis Scottish. I don't know that I want Rose, though. I think I'm kind of done. I think I'm done with the Rose thing.
I don't think I do either. Tony Finau, too,
I was just about to say.
I mean, he's going to get no talk. And
no, I think Finau will get the exact talk you and I are just about to have, which is nobody's going to talk about Tony Finau. The form hadn't been great, but man, his open record is good. He's tempting. Everybody's going to be tempted. I am tempted. I'm right there. Like I am I'm the sheep. Like I am tempted.
I think, well, yeah, I agree. I think you're right. That is going to be the conversation.
But he has done nothing since his win in Mexico.
Sungjae M, though, is going to be the one in here. He's going to have like 4% ownership, I bet. Nobody's going to play Sungjae. Maybe not 4.
I don't want Sungjae. But you're right. Nobody's going to play him.
No.
You know, I was just looking at Tony. The thing with Tony, the reason Tony's been held back is the putter. His putter has been really, really bad in the last since the Farmers or since Waste Management. I mean, he's had a couple spike weeks, but it's not been good. Do you think like the 10.5 to 11, you know, slow-ish, no grain mix of green surfaces that are also small, so he's not going to have to hit like these long lag putts and stuff. Do you think that kind of helps Tony?
I mean, it could.
I could see it helping him.
Yeah. Pull up Tony.
I like Tony. I'm kind of more into it.
Yeah.
The more I think about it, the more I'm kind of in it. Did he? Let's see. His open record is really good. I don't like that he hasn't played since the Rocket because that would kind of be like a trend buster for him to win or do something super good, having not played since then. But maybe he's just been over here getting ready. I mean, it's interesting to see Rahm take that approach too.
Yeah. That's the thing you're talking about with Finau's putting. I mean, maybe that is the deal. Like maybe he gets comfortable on these surfaces. And that's why his open record's so good.
Yeah. I mean, because like the ball striking has not left him. I think Tony's very interesting. Okay. I mean, my favorites in this range are probably Tony, Max Homa. I'm with you on Clark. Probably Tom. I kind of like Bryson too, but Hideki will be tempting to me too. I mean, there's some good players in here, obviously, but it is going to be a dead range. So I think we're going to be able to find a lot of leverage here.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a Mary F kill.
Gosh.
From the Discord. Decky.
Who's it from? Is it from Spaz again?
No, this is a different one. I think I could probably answer this one for you. Decky, Finau, and Burns.
I'd marry Finau.
Same.
F Decky.
Same.
Kill Burns.
Same.
Yeah. I don't know. Me and Burns don't have a very good relationship.
Me too, except for and every time I started thinking about that, I'm like, well, you know what, dipshit, the last bet you hit was Sam Burns.
I know. That's why you can't say you have a bad relationship with him.
But honestly, like I do not. I feel like Burns' upside is just in an event like this is not great yet. He has got to get the irons more under control. I mean, he can have these like really, really terrible. Like, look at round 3 of the Genesis. He lost 3 shots with his irons. He can have these like massively just cluster bang of a round with it, like he's hitting left-handed irons or something. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
I don't like that in a major. All right. Anything else in the AK range?
No, I think I'm good here.
Okay. 7K range. I got another Mary F kill if you want it. Why don't we just hit it right
Yeah,
at the
let's
top?
fine.
Because they're players at the top. Gooch, Minwoo, Corey Connors. So Gooch is at 7,800, Minwoo and Connors at 77.
I would marry Minwoo, F Gooch, and kill Connors.
Yeah, we differ here. I think I'm gonna marry Gooch.
Okay. I don't mind it.
I'm gonna F Connors and I'm gonna kill Minwoo.
Now, come on.
What?
Why do you want to kill Minwoo?
I think Minwoo is like Australian, better at social media Sam Burns. It's the same. He's kind of the same guy. He can hit it far. Minwoo's probably longer. He's got a great putter, but his irons are trash. And you know, I mean, he can win. Yes, I mean he has great upside, a lot like Sam. Win the irons pop, but it's so damn unpredictable. He did the same thing as Sam Burns this week at the Scottish. I mean, just dreadful iron play. And I mean, it'll be sexy, dude. It'll be real sexy. Watch him hit little stingers off the tee and all this. I get it. I don't like it. I like the way Gooch is playing.
I'm fine with that answer. Connors to me is another one. It's actually kind of like Burns. I don't feel like I have a great relationship with him.
Yeah, he's not like Burns in terms of what he does well, but
no.
You may not have a good record predicting him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's long enough off the tee that I think soft or firm conditions won't matter. The iron play is fantastic. He's played well the last 2 opens, 28th and 15th the last 2 years. I think the Royal St. George's year in 2021 where Calla won is a much better, at least recent course comp than the old course last year. Finished 15th at St. George's. Coming off at 19th at Genesis Scottish, 9th at the Travelers, 20th at the Canadian Open. Honestly, could have won the Canadian Open. He had a horrible round 4, I believe. He was up there going into round 4. You know, miscut at the U.S. Open, miscut at the Memorial, which sucks. Yes. I feel better about. I would feel better. Like, who would you feel better about? You know, like making a cut, Minwoo or Connor? I mean, obviously Minwoo for you, but if they played it 100 times, I guarantee Minwoo would miss the cut way more than Corey Connors. So I don't know. Maybe I should be playing for upside. But I do believe Corey Connors has upside. He's proven it in majors, at the Masters and here.
PGA.
And the PGA,
yeah. I think it's interesting how little we're going to look at and I think talk about Jason Day this week after what he did starting the season off.
Oh, I know, but it's because he won the Byron, and you'd think it was his childhood dream to win the Byron. He doesn't want to do anything else because he's sucked ever since. He's been terrible.
That was his.
I had him at the U.S. Open. He burned so many good lineups with Fleetwood and Fowler in them.
Yeah.
God, I don't. And I know he has a good Open record, doesn't he?
I mean, it's not great recently, but I mean, a lot of his records haven't been great
Yeah.
recently the last few years. But he missed 2 cuts and he didn't play in 2022. He missed the cut in 21 and 19. But then he had, T17 in 2018, T27 in 2017, more around the time when he was, playing well. I just bring him up because you're looking at, I think a lot of people are going to play Gooch. I think a lot of people are probably going to look at Minwoo, and I do think Minwoo could get over it. Like I could see me just not playing him, but there's still a part of me that likes Minwoo's game and thinks he's got plenty of upside. And I like Keegan a lot, even though his open record's terrible.
I don't know. I don't know what to do with Keegan. I agree. It feels like a guy who's leveled up, and it's like we should be playing him, but the open record is bad. I don't know if it's he doesn't like links golf or I don't know. I might be bowing out on Keegan. I like P. Reed. I mean, he's coming off a runner-up in London.
Yeah,
5th place before that. I probably would like it better if it were firm and fast and nasty, but 18th at the PGA, 56 U.S. Open. Are you getting a candy or something? What are you getting, a Werther's original or something? What's going on?
I'm getting this wax thing out. I'm just trying to kind of get it prepared here for us. I like P. Reed. I have a bet already on him at 100-1. I think he's shorter now.
Good,
Mm-hmm.
I like Neiman at 75. I like English at 74. Just had his baby coming off a nappy factor. He's going to get no ownership at all. But I think if you think about this place from a course fit, I think Harris English is a very good course fit for Royal Liverpool. Fairways and greens, small targets, great iron play. I mean, he's going to be risky. I don't know how much preparation or how it's impacted his travel or whatever with the baby, but he's probably going to be low owned as a result. So I mean, you don't have to. If I have like 8% of them, I'm probably double the field. But I am interested in him. A lot of people are going to look at Henley and Fox right there. Do you know that in 2021 and 2022, there's one player who would have been in both perfect DFS lineups, Pat, in 2021 and 2022? Do you know who that player is?
Brian Harman.
Yeah. Cockbite.
I was going to say it only because I was looking at him next because I do want to play him.
Who's now playing fantastic.
And
he's going to be popular.
He is.
He wasn't playing fantastic most of the year, and now he's figured it out. I don't know what happened, but he's playing really well. But I mean, you realize you're going to have a chalk ass Brian Hart. He's one of the players in the 7K. He may be the most popular player in the 7K. So, like, are you going to be okay?
You think he'll be that chalky?
Yes, I think he will be. I think he'll be 15%.
Over like McCarthy?
Yes, McCarthy has no Open Championship record. I get it, but he has no Open Championship record. I like McCarthy. I like him.
Yeah.
But Harman with his Open record and the last 3 finishes, including the Scottish, already been over that direction, accustomed, travels, whatever.
I mean, a chalky Brian Harman would make me scared. Like, I don't think I would. If I'm looking at him at 15% or even higher, I'm probably going to avoid that. But I still think I think Harman is one that is like just early on today. I do like. I think there's a lot of good reasons to like him. There's obviously a reason he's chalky. So
yeah, I do like Denny though, despite the open record, lack of open record. He's obviously playing really well. I like Siwoo. This is a good range right here. I mean, kind of your accurate, fairways and greens guys get hot with a putter.
This wax thing, by the way, looks like it's going to hurt. I mean, it's sticky.
Yeah, it's fair.
I mean, it's got some stick to it.
All right, we have a 7K submission in the chat from our boy B-Riss for another Mary F kill. Siwoo, Denny, and Harman. DFS F Mary kill. Siwoo, Denny, and Harman. And I'm just gonna let's say this. Let's say Harman is 13.5% projected on Wednesday night. Denny is going to be. I'm going to throw this out there. We'll just add to the scenario. I'm going to say Denny is going to be right around 6%, and Siwoo is going to be at like 5%.
I'm not killing Siwoo. I can tell you that right now. So I'm probably gonna F Siwoo.
Yeah.
So now it comes between which one of these two do I want to marry? I think right now I'm gonna stick to my guns. I'm gonna marry Harmon. I'm gonna kill Denny.
Well, I got to F Siwoo. I think I'll probably go opposite. I'll marry Denny at half the ownership of Harmon,
Okay.
and kill Harmon, but I'll kill him with like a not good feeling about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Who else? Let's see. Ryan Fox is playing. I mean, this is a very good range here. Adam Schink's playing great. No open record. Him and Denny.
I like Fox. I like I think I'm going back to Gary Woodland.
Me too.
Part of me also wants to look at Alex Noren.
Nope. I didn't get suckered into that last week. I'm glad I didn't. Chris Kirk.
Yeah. Doesn't Noren have a pretty decent? I mean, he finished
Yeah,
top 10 at the Rocket Mortgage, but doesn't he also have a pretty decent open record?
Mm-hmm. He does.
Oh yeah, outside of missing the cut in 2021, he had 3 straight top 20 finishes.
Yeah, I still don't like him.
I think I like Sepp.
I know. I was just looking at look at some of the names right now in this range that are playing so well with no open record to speak of. I mean, Sepp, I guess, missed the cut last year, but because typically having some Open Championship experience is kind of a requirement. Not necessarily to finish. That's what you got to think about. It's like maybe to win, but we're not asking these guys to win. But top 10.
I mean, who in here has got no open record? I mean, but other than Schink and Denny, who you've mentioned.
That's what I'm saying. Like those two, and then Sepp with 2 rounds experience at the old course, which is nothing like what I think this is going to play. Those are just 3 guys who are playing really good golf right now with very little to no open record.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I feel better about Denny than I do Schink, but I mean, Schink's honestly probably longer. He is longer. He hits it plenty off the tee. If it's soft, it might actually be better for Schink.
Yeah.
So I mean, chalk in this range, in the whole 7K range, I think it's clearly going to be Harmon. I think Minwoo is going to get some love. I kind of think Gary might too. I think Gary's going to be popular at 71. Just feels like a good price, a good value, and a safe play.
I think Gooch is going to be kind of chalky.
You think so?
Mm-hmm. I think too, if I was going to play cash, I like Gooch a lot in cash.
I like Gooch and Woodland and Harmon in cash.
We hadn't even talked about Joaquin Niemann.
Yeah, I'm interested in Niemann.
I mean, yeah.
I was looking before. Where's he at? If you look at his form coming into these events, like he hasn't had to have amazing live golf form to come and do well at these events. In fact, the best live golf form he had all year was the 2 events prior to the PGA, and he missed the cut at the PGA.
Mm-hmm.
Then he had a 31st and a 32nd, or the 31st, and then he finished 32nd at the U.S. Open, and then for the Masters he had a 36th and a 31st, finished 16th. I do like Niemann. He's coming off of a T21 in London, 3 rounds of 69, T10 in Valderrama. I like Niemann a lot too. I think I'm out on Theegala now. I played him last week and I shouldn't have.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
So I think I'm out on him. All right, let's keep moving. 6K range, 5K range. Can't believe I'm saying that. It's been 8 years since we've said that. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
The 6K and 5K range. Gosh. Before we get into that, check out our friends at Front 9 Coffee. Front9coffee.com. Promo code TJ10, 10% off any order. You can get it whole bean delivered. You can get it ground. You can get K-Cups now. K-Cups, baby. Get it. Front9coffee.com. Promo code TJ10. You can use that code every time you order, and you get 10% off your entire order. Support a great small business based right here in Augusta, Georgia. Loves the Tour Junkies, loves our fans, our followers, loves golf, loves good coffee, and will ship anywhere in the U.S., gets to your front door a couple of days after you order because they're going to roast it nice and fresh. So you'll get it fresh and it's delicious. Try one of me or Pat's flavors, Pat's Bump and Run. Flavor is delightful. My large bucket of balls flavor is also good. Check it out, front9coffee.com. Link is in the description of the podcast. Promo code TJ10. Did you apply that wax strip?
Yep. I'm very concerned.
Wax. Pat's inner thigh waxing is incoming, folks. It draweth nigh. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Woo! Dude, remember when I did it last year? Or my wife did it to me last year? And I told you, I know this is going to sound disgusting, but for the first couple days, it's hard to not kind of want to touch it because your leg is as soft as it's ever been in your life.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? You're just going to be like, wow, you know?
It's like when you get did you have braces?
Yes.
Like when you get your braces off and you're
just licking your teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's going to be kind of like that. So,
okay.
Just so you know. 6K range, 5K range. There's so much value in here, dude. It's unbelievable. So we can't talk about it all, but let's just go. Okay. And by the way, be on the lookout to me for Ben On and Nikolai Højgaard being added in this thing. Probably Ben On more than Højgaard. They're not currently in the DraftKings pricing, but they've all punched their ticket, and DraftKings will add them to the field being a major. Ben On has played in 8 Open Championships. Just had a really solid.
8?
He's played in 8. Just finished T3 at the Genesis Scottish. Might have found him a little something with the putter. Hello. Happy learned how to putt. Gained strokes for the week putting. Had bookend positive putting days, round 1 and round 4. I'm just saying, Ben On is an interesting name to watch because they'll probably throw him. He might even get thrown down in the 5K range because they'll probably just toss him in, you know? And I mean, Højgaard, I don't think he has any Open Championship experience, but he's obviously playing well. So anyway, that was something I wanted to think about. Romain Langasque, I like. Playing well, had a good Genesis Scottish, hits it pretty far. Also finished 8th at the Betfred British Masters. I like that. I like Brandon Grace from Live, playing well, got a good open record. Jordan Smith playing really well. Loved him all week last week. Cashed a bunch of placement bets on him. So I like those guys up top. I'm actually even a little tempted by Louis, Pat.
I am too.
He's actually now playing because he kind of has not played well on Live, but he just finished 4th in London, 7th in DC. Louis could be peaking for the Open.
I'm with you.
He's risky, super risky. Who else you like in here as we work down?
I mean, I like Brendan Todd. You mentioned Louis, who I'm interested in for sure. I think Danny Willett interests me for some reason. He has a incredible history.
I know. He's playing like trash.
He is, but man, he comes over here and it's he tends to play pretty well. I think you can go back in with Thunder Bear Olson.
Yeah, I like Victor Perez right there. JT Poston's playing great right now, huh?
Yeah.
How about that sneaky 6th place finish at the Genesis Scottish?
Yeah.
You're going to hear a lot about Matthew Jordan, 6,500. He's a member at Royal Liverpool. You'll hear about that. But definitely an option.
Yeah, I think. Well, you look at Taylor Moore at all?
Yeah, I mean, kind of in that Denny category, right?
Yeah.
No open record at all. Could pop. Really good player. Good iron player. Detry, how about Detry was in a perfect lineup last year or in 2021, I think. He was in one of them.
Yeah.
Trying to think. Is Stinson intriguing to you? It's probably not. It's probably not. That might be getting like too cute.
Yeah. I mean, a little bit, but yeah, I think that is getting a little too cute.
The other Scottish kid, the Scottish Ricky Fowler, they call him, that Ewan Ferguson, huh? 12th this week. He's playing well. Daniel Hillier, is he New Zealand or Australian? He's playing well. 6,100. I mean, super cheap. Super cheap down here. Richie Ramsey. Who else? Anybody else?
I think that's it for me in the 6K range.
Everybody's going to talk about Matthew Southgate at 5,600, and it does seem like a pretty egregious misprice. He's got a solid links record, a good Open Championship record in limited tries at 5,600.
I think Oliver Wilson's interesting. Augusta State guy, by the way.
Augusta State University standout.
Yeah, I mean, he's had some. I mean, he finished second a few weeks ago at the British Masters. He missed the cut the last two events that he's played, but had a 38th at the BMW International. He's got some. When's the last time? I think he's played a few Open Championships too. Yeah, he did play back in 2018 and 2019. Missed the cut, but I mean, we're talking about a $5,800 player here.
5,800. All right, let me give you my last play. I wanted to look out. Maybe it's kind of the Masters thing in me, but I wanted to look at the amateurs. There's like 6 or 7 amateurs playing, and just be like, let me find my amateur. And my amateur is 5,600. Christo Lamprecht. I did a lot of digging on these amateurs, Pat. Christo, this MFer, they do something. They breed him different in South Africa. He's South African. He's 6'8". The boy is thick. And
what's his name?
Christo Lamprecht.
5,600.
Hits the out of it. Plays for Georgia Tech, Pat. Pretty good program. I mean, it's not Georgia, but pretty good program. Golf.
Yeah.
He was a Haskins finalist, which is obviously the best player in college golf.
Best player, yeah.
He's number 3 ranked amateur in the world. He just qualified because he won the British Amateur at Hillside, which I don't know what the similarities are between Hillside and this course, but also finished 17th in the USAM. Like, kid's got some game. So $5,600 Christo Lamprecht could be a dart down there in the 5K range.
Yeah.
Bobby McIntyre down here too in the 6K range is just crazy.
I know he should have been.
But God, I mean, I might have to eat that. He's got a 34th and 8th and a 6th and 3 Open appearances, and he's coming off his hot play right now. I forgot to talk about him. Like, think about what you can do putting like players like Bobby Mack and even like JT Poston, who's just hot right now and a regular on the PGA Tour, competing against the best fields in professional golf, and they're both 6,500 and 6,800.
Yeah,
that is powerful. You know. All right,
nervous. That's why.
Nervous.
Did you say why we weren't doing a draft? Or just because there's so many players in there?
Yeah, just a bunch of players. I don't know. We're just not going to do the draft. Well, are you ready for the? Are you ready?
Mm-hmm. I don't know why we needed an audience up here.
Is she ready? Oh, you got your boys up there to watch?
Well, Harrison is. I think he just wants to see Dad in pain.
Yes, let's do it.
All right.
Give it him thigh. Give it that thigh, boy.
I have to come around this. Yeah.
Spun the wheel, lost the bet.
There it is. Let me get the mic out of the way.
Yeah, get the mic out of the way.
Closer to me.
Yeah, there we go. Dang, you got that up there, huh? Jeez.
Wait.
Do it, Sally. Yeah.
Wait, did you read the instructions?
Which way does your hair grow?
You didn't pay attention to the instructions.
Just rip it off.
From the top or the bottom?
Look at
you
it.
don't have to keep rubbing it in. Just rip it.
Look at that. That's so gross. Yeah, boy. Thank you, Sally.
Man.
Yeah, this is normally behind the paywall kind of stuff, huh?
Oh. Whew. I feel like that's gonna hurt more as this goes later, I think.
Oh, that's
white
beautiful.
here came with it.
Yeah, it's normally only behind the paywall kind of content, but damn, that's good stuff. Listen, we got to spin the wheel. We haven't spun the wheel in a while because I've been waiting on you to pay off the bet. Now all your bets are paid. Don't you feel better?
I do feel good about it. I feel good. I think tomorrow on the betting show we should definitely spin the wheel again.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we can do it now because you've been freed up. All right, listen, great show, good times. Thanks everybody watching live. If you are watching, click the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. We'll have the betting show tomorrow. We'll have the sleepers dropping, which, by the way, I gave you Grant Forrest on the sleepers video last week.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Who finished 11th. Super cheap. So anyway, sleepers video dropping. Subscribe to the channel. Drop us a comment. Tell us, put a comment in there. Give us your number one favorite 5K play. Just one play in the 5K range. Who is it? One. Okay. And you could also, if you don't want to do that, give us type in the comments a random NFL player from the 90s. Random NFL player from the 90s. Do that. If you're in Nashville this week, slide in our DMs. Let us know. We're going to be out and about in Nashville doing some content on Broadway. That should be fun. We might meet up for a beer or something. Slide in our DMs. Let us know what's up. We got some time. We'll be with the SoBet crew. And thanks, everybody, for watching. If you're listening, consider subscribing to the podcast and also dropping a 5-star review. That would be very nice. This is a good time of year to do that, to give us that 5-star review. And don't forget the TJ Trial promo code for SoBet to get that free month. All right, that's it. Have a great week. May your screens be green. See you in the nut.